Hello and welcome to another episode of the DewatchPod. I am Jürgen Smorgasbord.
And I am Jim with a G.
And this is the first time we're recording this. And we are de-watching Star Trek right now. We have reached season 2
of Strange New Worlds.
And the episode we have watched is either the best or the worst of the season, or a wild card.
But we know what it's called, which is Those Old Scientists,
That's right.
which
Episode
stands for the
7.
Next Generation.
That's right. It's a backronym for TOS. The original series.
No, I know. I was getting Star Trek nerds angry by misquoting it.
I don't think we benefit from engagement. Like, we might, but not, like, properly.
Probably not, but anyway, may the force be with you, etc., etc. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of our system...
We're really bad today. And we don't have content warnings for you.
Hell yeah.
But we do have an opinion on whether you should watch this episode. And that opinion is... Yeah.
Yes! Part of our concept here is that, like, I had watched Black Mirror, you hadn't, when we were on for Black Mirror. You have watched Star Trek, I haven't. But I guess there's a small asterisk, which I do think way back when, you did show me an episode of Lower Decks with our mutual friend, when you were like, I'm going to test it with some outsider to see if this is funny to people who haven't watched Star Trek.
Remind me, was it?
It was fine. I think it was pretty good. But a lot of the stuff definitely flew past me. So I'm wondering if there's some application here where, like, I'm at least somewhat immersed in Star Trek now. But I wonder if people who have only watched, like, the live action enjoy the Lower Deck crossover as much.
I mean, Lower Decks is better than this one, so...
That's fair.
Lower Decks is, like, really good. But...
I'm willing to maintain a yes either way.
We have your guess to get in here. Because do you think this is the best episode, worst episode of this season? Or a wild card that I have thrown in?
Like, the wild card theory is strong, but, like, I think if I try...
Can I give you some information that won't help, but will be sort of neat?
Sure.
This season has a lot of very highly rated episodes.
Really? Interesting. Okay. That makes it harder, actually. Thank you.
My pleasure.
I want to lean... So I've set myself into the Star Trek mindset a little bit since last season. And I'm going to lean towards this being a higher rated episode. I think this might be the highest rated episode. I think it's a very weird clash, but it has a spirit of joyfulness, and I think people will be dragged along into it. Now, I think this is a bit of a crapshoot, because crossover episodes, I do think, are probably extremely polarizing.
Yeah.
But, like, it works. Like, it hits me. The structure is much like There's a Lot That Ate Its Own Tail, right? Like, it has a bit of a twist. Though not as big as It's a Lot That Ate Its Own Tail with the, oh shit, there were humans. But it's got, like, a fairly simple structure. So I feel like this fits the pattern I established from last season.
All right. Guess locked in. Now,
don't say that.
Well, we do need to move the show on.
Yeah.
I have another riddle for you, actually.
What?
Because this is a double crossover episode in one particular way. Do you recognize an actor in this episode from last season of the Robot Fucker season?
Oh, no. No. I could spend some time here digging, but, like, I'm fairly confident I'll end up on a no, so I'm just gonna cut that short.
I'll tell you which movie. It's Companion.
Companion. Okay, so it's not Guillermo.
No.
Like, it has to be either the aliens we meet or the two main, like...
That is correct.
Time travelers here. We'll get to that. Is it the lady who... Wait.
No. Jack Quaid plays Josh in Companion, and Ensign Boimler in Strange New Worlds in general, and this crossover episode was... in Lower Decks in general and this crossover episode with Strange New Worlds in particular.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're starting to establish like a Bacon connection here, right? Where we had who is it? It's the guy from Be Right Back in Black Mirror was in the Robot Fucker season,
Yeah.
and now we have a connection from Robot Fucker season to
Oh.
Star Trek.
Good stuff.
There you go.
I
Acting.
guess we'll have to fight. I guess we'll have a lot to work with the more Star Trek we do.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, no.
Shall we get into the actual episode?
Yeah, so this is a crossover episode with Lower Decks, as mentioned, in which Ensign Boimler and Beckett Mariner, with some time delay, both stumble through a portal on some planet and end up on the Captain Pike Enterprise.
Yeah.
And the sort of running joke is that they have extremely bad time travel discipline.
They're also just like pure fanboys.
Oh, yeah.
Like, actually, I was going to mention that in part of my analysis. I think the fanboying might endear some people here.
Yeah, it is like that is sort of the other major part of the running joke. And there's not that much plot here. Like, at some point one of them remembers, like, oh yeah, no, we actually have. Well, at some point they figure out how to make the portal go because Boimler gives Uhura an epiphany, and then Beckett Mariner stumbles through, and then they're like, oh no, we don't have portal fuel left, and they like fuck around for a bit, and then they're like, another epiphany. We have portal juice in the ship, as it turns out, and then they go back. That is the structure, like that is the key events of this episode, and it doesn't do it justice at all.
That's fair. That's you're usually not quite as brutal about episodes as I am, so I'm impressed by that.
Oh no, like I like this episode.
I like it too, but you know, there's some sass in there from your description. Let's put it like that.
I meant it as praise, really.
Okay,
like,
fair enough.
Like the actual like meat of this episode is completely unconnected to its key events.
Well, let's get into that meat, as the good carnivores we are. So like,
That's right.
Like, because what actually is interesting in this episode is where these time travelers, as completely undisciplined as they are, affect the people like living in the Strange New Worlds timeline,
Yeah.
right? And about like the sort of accidental to less accidental hints they give to about those people's futures, right? Like Spock, for example, is trying out emotion, and by everyone's reaction to that, they go like, well, this is probably isn't gonna last, huh?
Yeah, no, this one is like a bit of a tough one because it is part of like a season arc where Spock gets together with Nurse Chapel, and Nurse Chapel from Boimler's intervention goes like, I guess this wasn't meant to last, and then it's just like sad, and like that is it.
Yeah,
that is her plot beat.
Because what else we have? We have Uhura, who gets like a little bit of a like her being remembered, I guess, for being hardworking, and she's hardworking in the present, and she learns a little bit to relax. That's also not that much to that.
Yeah.
We have Pike, I guess, who there's at first I figured this was just a running joke, but I guess it's a little bit more than that, which is that there's multiple mentions of like, oh yeah, his birthday's coming up, are you guys gonna do a surprise party? And then eventually like he confronts him and is like, do not do a fucking surprise party, for the love of God.
And then they talk him into accepting the surprise party.
Which I don't think is a surprise party at that point, but
yeah,
we take what we can get. And then I guess it's number one, whose name I'm forgetting. Una. Is she the most meaty subplot? Because there's a bit of mystery going on where like everyone, like the time travelers are acting scared or sort of like reticent around her.
Yeah, because it turns out she is like the advertising poster for Star Trek.
She's Uncle Sam in the future.
Yeah, she for Starfleet, sorry. And they communicate this so poorly that for a period of time she thinks Boimler has a pinup of her in his bunk, which, what a vibe. This is definitely a bit more irreverent.
A bit. I mean, like, okay, I don't think it's actually that far off from like 4.5 Vulcans, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But it's a bit more on the face goofy, I guess. Right? Like
Yeah.
just in dialogue and framing and stuff like that. But otherwise, like broad tone, I think it's not far off.
No, I don't think so.
Just like comparing a lot of the scenes in this episode with like the Doug scenes in 4.5 Vulcans.
Christ. I'm still, like, Patton Oswalt is, like, too... Just, he's too much, you know?
I feel like if I ever need to snap you out of something, I will show you a picture of Patton Oswalt doing a comedy routine or something.
Like, he is only good in Lady Dynamite.
But yeah, like, I don't think there's that much more to the plot or even subplots here. Like, are we missing anything?
Well, I think, like, there is just, like, this... Lan just straight up doesn't have one. I'm thinking...
No, unfortunately, despite being the superior
She just gets, like, in compensation for not getting her own weird future subplot, she just gets to do, like, a bunch of zingers.
That is true, actually. I guess the only other thing, and I don't think this amounts to much either, is like the Orion thing. Because in Strange New Worlds, Orions are pirates all the time, forever. Yeah. And in the future, they're actually nice, civilized people. The Romans came in, they built aqueducts, and we're all good now. I don't know what happens in between, so...
Well, they joined the Federation.
That's it?
Like all civilized people.
Okay, well, welcome to the Roman Republic, boys. Citizenship is over that military service. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, like, that's, I guess, is a running thing, and like...
I think it is, like... I don't actually know when Orions joined the Federation. I think it is a fairly new thing.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it is in any of the, like, live action shows.
I realize this is something I need to ask. Is Starfleet, like, the Federation's military arm? Is that how that works?
The Federation is not supposed to, like, really have a military.
Okay.
Like, Starfleet is nominally, like, an exploration mission first. But they keep, like, bumping into shit that wants them, like, turbo dead.
Right,
At which point it's like, well, we have all these vessels, and, like, we haven't, like, equipped them with 0 phasers.
Yeah.
I guess we're just gonna, like, have to stock the torpedo bays a bit more, and all our, like, wide-eyed scientists have to be soldiers again for the nth time this, like, cycle.
So they're doing like a Japan's defensive forces thing going on, but like with a bit more layer on top.
Well, I mean, the notion is genuinely that they are explorers first. The trouble is, politics is a very interesting plot.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And you can even in good faith you can say that, like, in space you might need guns on your science ships.
In Star Trek you certainly do.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no, like, I think this episode is interesting because it is just like people who are, like, presented with the opportunity to stare into a very talkative abyss and who go like, oh fuck, and they just can't help but, like, make connections.
Yeah.
And, like, Spock is the one that, like, by far deals best with this. Because he's like, you're acting like me smiling is weird, but me taking in that information would compromise my timeline anyway, so I'm just going to disregard this. And be normal. Of course, his girlfriend has been, like, one-shotted by the, like, timeline information. So I forget if that is how they, like, end up splitting this season or next season.
Yeah, on that topic, actually, before we get into, like, analyzing themes and stuff, I do think there's like a little interesting thing here where, like, so time travel stories, right? Like, they have this basic idea that, like, if you step on a stone wrong when you're in the past, like, Hitler will have been revived as a mecha when you come back to the present. Like, they have a very well established thing that, like, even the smallest things will butterfly effect into the biggest changes, and they will always be bad. You will never have, like, a oh, like I tripped over this piece of wood, and now
We have turbo penicillin.
yeah, thank you. I feel like this is a great game you can play with your friends, like time travel consequence and result, or action and consequence. But yeah, like, and obviously, time travel appears to be a thing in Star Trek, which I am surmising both from this episode and I think I think 4.5 Vulcans again actually. There's something in there.
Yeah, no, there's a reference to Laan's time travel plot,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I think is this season, but I forget.
But yeah, like so it makes sense that they would have rules around it. But what I think is interesting is we do not get actually any implication that like they did cause consequences.
No.
This is the first time travel media I have ever seen which posits that like, hey, don't change things in the past is like a purely ideological stance. Like it is not for like the preservation of the timeline in any meaningful way. It's just like probably shouldn't do that. Like just like let's have that as policy.
Like, Star Trek does have, like, ah, shit, you changed the past, huh? Like, that is like a frequent, like, consequential action. So, like, that is like, oh, this policy, this episode, like, opinion the show holds.
Fascinating.
Because, like, more or less, like, I think it is more or less like a tone thing.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting because, like, sure, we don't have anything like, oh, they avert the assassination of JFK. Like, they don't have, like, that level of, like, canon event averting or anything. But, like, they let slip a lot, right? Like, even apart from small details, like, Una gets to know her, like, a good bit of her future. So does Uhura.
She does, so this is also, a lot, this episode is a bit unfortunate. Because it is like a lot of the like ongoing plots like get moved a bit.
Right.
And Una's plot is that she is from the only thing Starfleet is allowed to discriminate, which is gene modified people.
Really?
So she's from a gene modified civilization. So she's like kind of under the gun.
Can't you discriminate against like androids? Isn't that a thing in the new generation with Data?
That's a whole different thing.
Okay, sure.
Androids, for the purposes of this line, do not exist.
Can't wait for the Equality Act to include gene modification.
I mean, yeah, no, like that is basically like there is like a fair amount of like Star Trek. Obviously, it's like we're cool now. We figured it out. But then they're like, yeah, but we want to talk about current issues. I think this is mostly like the very modern series. We're like, well, I guess, like, given the gene wars, they probably left some, like, scars. And that is more or less, like, where they end up with, like, I guess we will go with bias against gene-modified people as, like, our stand-in for discrimination.
I mean, that makes some amount of sense by sci-fi standards. Just once... And I worry this is going to become quotable. Just once, I want a sci-fi show that goes like, hey, we want to do an episode about racism. Let's do it about, like, just actual racism. Like, we don't need to swap out the person.
Well, that episode was also mentioned in this.
Really?
In this episode, it's like one of their stupid background conversations. It's I think the genuinely like famous Deep Space Nine two-parter, also with time travel, where it actually has a few episodes that are just about racism, and this one is about the Bell riots. You had to like look at the subtitles to catch it mostly.
Okay.
Or like it. But yeah, no, there is another episode in Deep Space Nine where it is just like it is like barely Deep Space Nine, and it is just like, hey, here's like I want to say like 60s like newspaper, and one of them is writing Star Trek, and other people are like, no, cut it out, you're putting too many black people in this. And he's like, but it's so important. And it's just like this extremely like heartfelt but also like quite serious episode about the importance of representation, essentially.
Once we get there, even if it's not either the highest or lowest rated episode, can you please wildcard that in?
I
Because
mean,
that sounds
there's.
fascinating.
I mean, this one is like the most like not even a Star Trek episode one. Like this is just like, hey, we at Star Trek would like to talk to you about why racism is bad and why our cool black captain is really cool. Um,
Based.
yeah, no.
Speaking of racism, shall we actually get into the themes of this episode? Which
I
I
think
don't
we've
actually.
been
I
prodding
guess racism
around them.
is very technically a theme of this
It
episode. I
kind
wrote
of
there.
is, right? It is like I, this is another one of those like goofy episodes that has like something like very complex that it's sort of like maneuvering about, right? And it's like I think it is like sort of about like what it the importance of knowing and not knowing things.
Yes, okay, sorry, I thought you were pivoting back towards the racism thing, which I was gonna say is like, it's there, but it's not particularly complex. No, like, I think this episode, like what essentially comes down to is some depiction of, like, fate, right? And, like,
Yeah.
knowing your future and stuff like that, and in the sense of, like, how much information do you actually need about yourself and where you're going?
Yeah.
Like for me, this is a very psychological episode in that specific sense, and I'm gonna preface this. Like 80% of this episode is still just fun,
Yeah.
like fun and a bit of fan service and such,
Yeah.
and that's fine. It's an enjoyable episode. But if we're digging for themes, I do think that's the big one, right? Is the like, ooh, does knowing this extra information about stuff in my life, should it affect me? Should it change where I'm going in life? You know, like.
Yeah. Like I think the thing that they like sort of sort of avoid doing a bit oddly is just going like, hey, this guy just like knowing you exist at all like is deeply weird, and like they
Yeah.
have Uhura say it at one point. But like it is like oddly like not focused on that much that like no, like I've read like all of your biographies. It's just a lot.
Like if a future traveler showed up and said like, "Oh, I know who you are," and like they don't seem to be like a specific, a very very deep anthropological researcher, you'd be freaked out. Like one way or another, like stuff's gonna happen in your future, right?
Yeah.
So like there's that, but I'm also like I'm willing. I don't know. I think the base level of Star Trek is so like fantastical that
Yeah.
like I'm willing to just tank that and move on to the like more specifics of like, oh, like you know that you're gonna be like the poster girl of Starfleet. You know that like these things will happen, these things won't happen. Spock won't become more emotional, no matter your best efforts in Nurse Chapel and so on and so forth.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like the timeline did just like tank like two giant idiots like to the as like a broadside. Like
I
who's
sure
to
did.
say?
I think that's fun in a way. Like I actually kind of like the idea of time
Yeah.
travel as like a bit less like immediately catastrophic, whatever you do. But I think that's not important here. I
Yeah.
think like looking at themes, it is like an interesting just concept that like self-analysis and self-knowledge is not like it doesn't need to determine your life, right? Like I feel like Pike is an interesting one because he already knows he's gonna die
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah,
like,
no, he knows he doesn't. I think it's specifically that he will get like turbo maimed, and basically be like worse than like he's basically going to be like in like the like future version of the Iron Lung for like heavy burns or something.
oh.
Yeah, no, it's like really fucked up.
Okay, that actually kind of. You know, like knowing how you're going to die and knowing that like your last days will be quite painful. At
Oh
least
no, he's gonna live.
he's gonna live through it.
Yeah, and it's going to be really bad.
Okay. Okay, I've been broadsided too. I don't know what to do with that. Like, because this can say if he died in there, that's an because at least you can be like, I guess I'll write a will saying, please don't put me in the Iron Lung, just kill me. Like that seems like a reasonable course of action without knowledge. But if you make it through, ooh, that's more.
Yeah. No, like
That's
it's
more stuff.
Yeah, no, but like it is just like the episode isn't like trying to say something like momentous about this. It is just like, hey, like like the future is like a weighty thing, right? And like it is just sort of like positing like, hey, like that's a really weird feeling, wouldn't it be? And like it like mines that for a lot of comedy.
Yeah, I want to say I do think it says something, and like I'm so there was like a moment towards the second half of the episode where they do enunciate a little bit about this about because there's a part in the episode where like um Boimler and Mariner,
Yeah.
the two lower deck characters, the two time travelers, make a plan to escape and be like, oh fuck it, I guess we'll just live in the present, and
Yeah.
that's like it's a bit on the nose, but fuck it, I guess we'll live in the present. That's a statement you can live by, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's just genuinely good advice. And I think they say something else about it, and I wish I'd maybe I should have taken notes here, I guess, but like they do make the point that like, oh, like you can't just spend all your life deliberating about those little nuggets of information you might predict about your future and
Yeah.
like those like little bits that
Yeah, no,
might
and, like,
determine things.
to like draw like a bit more of a line to the rest of the episode from your thing, right? Like the way that is set up is like Boimler going like, "Hey, I wanted to be part of history, and now I fear I'm going to be like just like stuck in a shack trying to like not fuck things up by just knowing about the future."
Yeah.
And like he does just end up going like, "Ah, I guess I'll just live in the present." And it's like, see, the thing about this episode that it seems to like sort of be weaving around the time travel stuff with is that like it is just like implicitly going like, oh no, time loop's done. Like this is like a determinist episode, and it's going like the future they are from like only happened because the this loop always happens this way. Their travel always like there isn't an alternate version we
Right,
can
right.
see.
It's stable time loop is
Yeah.
the name of
Yeah.
the trope. Like you're because you're thinking about like the Orion ship that they're like,
Yeah.
hey, please don't blast this. This is the great grandmother of one of my friends in my timeline
Yeah.
who's on board the ship. Yeah, no, there's truth to that. But like also, I don't think stable time loop is much of a meaningful trope.
No, like but like that is sort of the mechanics of how this episode like
Yeah,
navigates that, and I think like it is like one of the more elegant time travel tropes, right? That because it like leaves space to like be like, all right, that's done. But yeah, no, like it's do think it is sort of very much like underneath it all, just like about like sitting with these ideas of like sort of the heaviness of like either history or the future, depending, and just going like, well, cat, whatever.
I
Right?
think
It is about free will.
it's about free will. Like I was gonna say, like on one hand, we can talk about like what could this possibly connect to in real life, right? Like, and there's I'm going to shock you with something. There's not time travel in real life yet, as far as we know. JFK.
Oh, what's this? Stephen Hawking just appeared in the living room.
This is such a bad bit. I'm sorry I started it.
Yeah.
But no, like there are a few things I think you could hook it onto without stretching too much. Which is stuff like you can test for a lot of genetic diseases.
Yep. Yeah, that's where my mind was going to, specifically to the plot of 13 in Doctor House.
Like there's stuff like that. Like my family has stuff. I could be like, yeah, I'm probably at the very least at heightened risk for some stuff. And some of that is probably genuinely helpful, and some of it is not. Like if you, there are things you could look up, and it will probably just give you anxiety if you get the bad result. And to be fair, like I don't think that's unrecoverable from like none of this, nothing we can test for is set in stone, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the important bit here.
I mean, I think some of it is, but
Like 100% chance of developing something
I
genetically.
think so.
Okay, fair enough.
Like not a lot, but those people like kind of like, well, I think those things tend to just be like hard congenital. That's
Right.
like you don't need to test if your
Okay,
parents
fair,
have it,
fair.
you just have it.
I guess specifics aside,
Yeah.
whether it's a chance or whether it's 100%, you know what your options are? Tank it. Like,
Yeah.
with all due respect, you like, some stuff you can prepare yourself for. You can be like, oh, I'm gonna eat healthier, I'm not gonna get into these things, whatever.
Yeah.
But also, like, a lot of the time, you're just gonna have to live with that knowledge. In the same way, like if I had to put it in another way, like, another thing I can think of is, like, and this is also dangerous information to spread, as based on what we're talking about, purely, all the mental illnesses, if you've had one run-in with a mental illness, depression, anxiety, there's a good chance, not far from guaranteed, but there's a good chance you might hit a second episode. And that's like a vulnerability on some level you kind of have to live with and like work around it to some extent, but don't let it dominate your life, right? Like that's kind of the message of this episode is you gotta tank some stuff you know might happen.
Yeah, now let me hit you with a confusing counterexample. I have some like risk of like heart problems in my family. And you can like test for some of it. And this test, I don't think it like delivers much actionable results other than like, hey, your odds of getting a heart attack sooner are higher or not. And I've done this test. Don't have it. Feeling good. Like,
so that's nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just good.
I don't think you need a morality tale when the result is I'm good. You know, like that. This is not. You are not the target demographic for this.
Yeah, no. Like, I guess in light of this episode, I'm like, should I have this information? Because like, I'm not saying this was causal. In fact, I lean towards it wasn't. But like, I have started living a lot healthier in like the intervening time between receiving the information about this risk and finding out the test, but I'm still living as healthy. So, you know.
Well, I think that might actually be like if I'm gonna, and I don't necessarily think the episode goes here, but I think what you can extrapolate from this is just that like, hey, like, you can get information, and you get to, like, getting information about stuff and choosing how to act are two separate things in life, you know? Like, if you're a smoker, and you're like, oh, like, this is going to increase the chance of lung cancer. I'm going to get, like, really into, like, healthy stuff to compensate. And then one day you find out you have the gene that says, actually, you're immune to lung cancer. This is not a real gene. I think I should tell all of our smoking viewers.
Don't smoke.
But if
At
you
least vape. But don't vape either.
Vaping is not much better, no.
It is a lot better.
But
because smoking is so bad.
I guess that's fair, but it is still quite bad. Anyway, if you were to find that gene, you should, like, you can probably still continue living healthily.
Yeah.
But actually, I wanna get into, I think, the other thing you could extrapolate from this, which is history. And like, because I've been really, like, I've been getting back into listening to a history podcast, and one of the things that the very swole host of this podcast.
We are here by recommending Tides of History by Patrick Wyman. Get it before Amazon turns it into a locked pay for it thing.
It's a very good podcast.
Yeah.
But one of the points he always makes when he's talking about like these pivotal events in history is like, none of this was guaranteed. Like, it looks guaranteed because we're sitting at the end of the events and every chain that led here. But it's just not. Things could have gone differently.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of those interesting things, like, because I've studied like history in my educational career, so to speak.
And your like, private life intently.
Yes, don't fucking out me like this.
You're an authority, is what we're saying.
Oh, that's going too far, to be fair. But no, like, one of those things is that, like, when you're a kid, you get to hear about Christopher Columbus, Alexander the Great, and you kind of naturally develop the Alexander the Great, like the sort of like great person theory of history. And at some point when you get into slightly higher like history education, you start thinking a lot more about systems, about like broad...
Hopefully.
That's actually a very fair point. But like about this broad like ideas of like, yeah, like if Christopher Columbus hadn't sailed west across the Atlantic Ocean, there is still a pressure for another trade path to India. There is still increasing like ocean-going technology being developed in Europe, also other places. The particulars might very well have changed, but the broad ideas would have gone the same. And I think if you I feel like at some point I started feeling like that explains everything. But also just like when you start looking at history even closer than that, there's just a lot of happenstance.
Yeah, no, it's like, yeah, no, there was a lot of pressure in this system, and then, like, a really weird guy came along. Uh,
Yeah.
Say, like, the twink that is also almost a god of death, comes into the perfect Macedonian war machine at just the right time, and, like, it wouldn't have worked without the twink god of death.
Like the least mentally stable monarch of the Eastern Mediterranean goes off, everything goes his way, his lover dies, he gets real weird about it.
Yeah.
You know, his response to who should a kingdom go to is the strongest on his deathbed. Like, you know, there's some influences there.
No,
right?
like, very recent example. Hey, remember how the current moment feels like really, I'm speaking specifically about American political event, feels like pretty heavy and like, ah, shit, I guess, like, when Biden got elected, I was like, ah, fuck, they're just gonna fuck this up, and then, like, Trump's gonna get another term. Now, I turned out right, but I think I feel in principle I was wrong, because, like, remember when they were, like, one, like, coal baron who was, like, not sufficiently blackmailable away from, like, doing a second New Deal? Like, that timeline, like, is not that far away.
Yeah. So like I think there is something to be said for all of this. It's like it is a bit of a reflection on the fact that like we can point to so many factors that might have stabilized the course of history and perhaps specifically the course of your personal history.
Yeah.
But sometimes the fucking typhoon hits the Mongol fleet headed for Japan and you just go, all right, sick, and or that sucks depending on what side you're of that fleet you're on.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like there's
I mean, it was typhoon season.
true, but like you know, it's not. There was no guarantee of that.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just, like...
You could have minimized the factors.
Yeah, you really could. Like, in life, it is both your responsibility to, like, tank that typhoon if it hits you, but also, like, do, like, look up typhoon season.
You know, like Alexander the Great, probably might have died at a young age anyway, but he didn't help things by like constantly fighting and drinking and putting all of his emotional stability on one twink.
It's a miracle he lived that long.
I know.
It's crazy.
But I think the more relatable part is just that like we are a compilation of unknowable factors and little random events.
Yeah, no, I think like the other thing that like this isn't helped by the like stable time loop trope. Because like, the rest of the series needs to happen, or like you can't just go like, hey, we're gonna do a time travel episode and decanonize like for like 60 years of intellectual property.
That would have been bold though.
It would have been very funny to do. But like you can like there is just like you always like could have more information,
Yeah.
like the information you have is always incomplete, and you don't need to go on what that nerd said, Nurse Chapel, though clearly you do, because we have already watched the next season. Man, this Star Trek really thinks Irish guys are hot, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, and
Ireland?
The archaeologist, Irish.
Wait, sorry, who's the archaeologist?
Nurse Chapel's new boyfriend.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think so.
So for a second, like, my brain
no,
parsed...
he's very Irish.
My brain parsed Nurse Chapel boyfriend, and I thought you were calling Spock Irish.
What a comedic concept. I can't do an Irish accent and never we should not move on more than today.
We should not move on with this bottom line. We will make people angry.
We apologize to everyone for not having that skill.
We apologize to Ireland, as we all should, especially if you're British. Also, if you're like Italian, if we're stretching there back to Rome.
Well,
But yeah, no, like it's It's weird because I feel like the themes of this episode are so smooshed into little spaces in it. But I think they're there, and
Yeah, no,
I think they
they're
work like once you go like, oh, we can spread this to the rest of the episode.
yeah, no, like it is just sort of suffused by like, hey, have some fun. Here's a weird idea to sit with. Wouldn't it be crazy if like you knew your future? Don't worry about it. That's our advice. Don't worry about it.
Genuinely, you could remove like 3 scenes of this episode, and it would have no theme. I'm being genuine.
Maybe, but like I do think it is like an oddly substantive
Yeah,
for how
yeah.
funny it is.
I think like if anything, this episode is a bit of a celebration of like attention to detail and like the little,
I mean,
little
genuinely.
like how little or how much you can do with so little, I should say.
Speaking of attention to detail, I do just also need to mention that Tawny Newsome, who plays Mariner,
Okay.
is just like extremely comedically strong in this episode.
I like them both a lot. I'm kind of impressed by how well they managed to hold on to like
Yeah.
the lower deck tone in a different universe.
Actually, like this does like sort of oddly like create a strange meaning, just I think more by accident than like it could be on purpose. But like lower decks being like the just like future where things are more chill because like the
Yeah.
Federation has like stabilized more of the galaxy more or less. Like it is just like a good utopian future by and large.
Yeah.
And like it does just like make sense that the people from there are just like a lot more lighthearted. You know?
I haven't thought about it like that, but that is a fair point.
Right? Like, you like see these future people and you're like, oh, they're such idiots. And then you realize they have leeway to be like really stupid. Like
Yeah.
what a nice idea.
It would have been very different if, like, the fucking writers of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia had written Lower Decks. It would have been a very different meeting of timelines here, I feel like.
I mean, it is just straight up an inversion of like the oh yeah no here's a guy from the future and it's like the most battle scarred dude you've ever seen, right? This is just like hey here's some nerds from the future. They are giant nerds and they're like really dumb and like fairly just
Undisciplined is the biggest one, right?
they're just like taking things way more easy than you could like conceive of. Things are looking kind of bright.
That's actually what, you know what? That makes me sad that Sing, Best Girl, wasn't more active. Leon?
Laan
Lan.
Noonien Singh.
Lan Nguyen Sing. Yeah, she should have a bigger role, but I will keep saying that.
She does just have her own time travel episode, is the thing. So
But don't you think that should eventually would have more interaction, being like, oh yeah, like same besties.
I mean, she does like have her like, hey, don't get attached
Right,
to time travel. Like that is her whole bit.
But yeah, I enjoyed this episode. I actually think like, because when I was watching it, I did feel like this feels a bit light, in both tone, but also in terms of meaning. But I'm glad to have chatted it through and actually felt like I've been able to smelt that meaning ore.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think like the Orion plot like sort of like falls into this, right? Because like I guess they fall more into like the bright future part of our reading, right? Where it's just like, hey, man, like future's bright, baby.
They tested this pirate race for like whether they have the gene that makes their society fall apart, and they go, no, actually, you have the sick brain genius genes. You're good.
Yeah, no, you're gonna be one of the best nerds in future.
I don't know, that sounds pretty dystopian too. But yeah, where are we heading? What strange new world are we heading to next time, Jorgen, Captain Jorgen?
I don't remember the. Oh no,
Okay.
it's like Cosmic Symphony or something.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm gonna tease it now. It's a musical episode.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm so excited, and I feel like I can already assume it will be the lowest rated one.
strong pre-episode guesses from Jim today.
I know. I'm going hard. I'm committing. I'm being confident regardless of what my future holds.
That's right. And that is the way to be.
Exactly.
Because, well, I guess if we ever get around to the actual original series, we will probably get a lot of references in retrospect.
I suppose.
That they have made in Strange New Worlds.
I'm actually more interested in seeing all the things they've like retconned going backwards. Like this long of a media property,
Yeah.
there must be some shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and a Roman gods show up at some point.
No,
They're aliens. Obviously.
I'm not gonna believe that until I see it.
But would I? It might be
I guess
great.
they are literally called Vulcans.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're from Vulcan. The planet Vulcan.
I did also look up that Romulans are from, like their planet is Romulus, and I was like, or their system or something, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's quite a mess.
Yeah, no, they're space Romans.
But yes,
They actually have extremely Roman costumes at some point.
that's gonna be fun
They
to
do
see.
away with that later on,
No,
but yeah.
cowardice.
But yeah, no. See you next time for music in space.
See ya.